All right, everybody. This one will be a warning to all politicians. Warning to all politicians. I'm running for president in 2024, part 121A. So just going with the theme that, how fed up people became and how Donald Trump, and if you go back and you look at videos of him back in the 80s and the 90s and stuff, talking about his love for the country and stuff, he didn't need to run for president. He's rich, businessman in his 70s. What's he need the aggravation for? You hear these people talk, his ego. That's why he won't concede. It's his ego. Gee, when Hillary Clinton was saying, Joe Biden should never concede this and that, you didn't hear the news media getting upset about that. So, and I think the reason she said that was because if they would have been calling like Texas and Florida and some of the other states who clearly Trump was going to win early on, and how it looked, Michigan and Wisconsin were going to go for Trump and Pennsylvania was going to go for Trump, and it clearly looked like Trump was going to win the whole kit and caboodle, Biden might have conceded. But maybe she's, hey, don't concede. We got the fix in. It's going to come in the middle of the night, so don't concede. Never know. But you gotta look. Joe friggin' Biden gets more votes than anybody in history. Really? That's not suspicious. The guy who didn't campaign, who couldn't put a sentence to fucking get together. Just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Trump's having these rallies all over the country, thousands and thousands of people there. Joe Biden couldn't get a handful together. And magically he's more votes than anybody? Are you serious? Promising Medicare for all and all this stuff and everything. People are like, hey, even when you complained when Obama was president, you're just a racist. No, I'm not. That motherfucker's a liar, though. And a thief. Your premiums won't go up. You can keep your same doctor. My premiums went from over $400 a month to cover myself and my son to over $800 a month to cover myself and my son. And when I tried to go into that marketplace and everything, I was told I made too much money. My deductibles went sky high. When Trump became president, guess what? Guess what I started paying for insurance to cover me and my son? $300 some odd. Guess what my deductibles went down to? Under $500. What was the price of fuel when Obama and Biden were in office? Remember that? What the price of fuel was? Look at what the price of fuel is now. Even in California, it's cheap. If you got rid of the 70 cents fuel tax that California puts on there. If they had the same fuel taxes like the other states running between, 18 and, 28 cents a gallon, they'd be just, as cheap as everybody else. So wait until your electric bills go up the price of gas goes up, the cost of all your medical goes up. Wait until they get us involved somewhere else in the world where they want regime change and send your sons and daughters overseas. Wait until they start funneling funds and arms to terrorist groups to go into countries. They're going to go right back to all their same old shit. You understand that, don't you? That's why they're so pissed off at Trump. He fucked up their game. It's just unbelievable. Unfreaking believable how naive people are in this country anymore. And you gotta say, the young people, uneducated. Oh, they're going to school to get some BS degree in something. They can tell you every trick there is to every video game there is and stuff. They don't know anything about our own history or world history. I guarantee you they don't know about things like the Great Depression. How bad that was for the whole country. It wasn't just Wall Street. But you hear them on the left, oh, Trump just cares about Wall Street. His buddies on Wall Street. Having a healthy stock market's a good thing. Yes, there's a lot of crooks up there. Yes, there need to be changes to some things. But putting in tax cuts to where business and investment can take place is not a bad thing. Like 2/3 of the country now, if not more, part of their retirement, if not all of their retirement, is relying on their 401ks, is relying on what the stock market does between now and the time they retire. But that goddamn Trump, he only cares about rich people. All you gotta do is watch Whoopi Goldberg. She'll tell you that every single day. Trump just cared about the rich people. You know, the young people, I tried to tell my son, you weren't here for NAFTA. You weren't here when they pushed all that through. Go back and watch Ross Perot. He explained everything that was going to happen. And they made a mockery out of him. He even made it easy. He made nice charts and graphs and stuff. Showed people. Said, here's what's going to happen. Go back and look. It's a play-by-play. Everything he said was going to happen, happened. Everything. And instead of running around screaming, oh, we got to do something about racism, no, here's what you got to do. If you're African American, you got to teach your communities in the hoods and everything like that, in all these rundown cities, on how things operate. You understand that? You have businesses and people making money. They pay taxes in your community. With those tax dollars, you pay for schools and teachers and police and to fix up your parks and all that kind of stuff. If everybody's on welfare, there's no taxes being collected, so your schools fall apart and you can't pay teachers anything worthwhile to get them to come in. You have drugs move in and everything. Go up around Chicago, even Baltimore, you know, there used to be a lot of manufacturing and a lot of steel and stuff. There were quite a few in around Baltimore, around Chicago, around Detroit. There were plenty of middle class and upper middle class black families, communities, men and women who worked in those plants, making good money, providing for their families. And after NAFTA went through and those plants closed down and moved out, the drugs moved in. And go to Baltimore. Anywhere you see all that shit that's run down, it wasn't always like that. It's been like that for a couple decades now. If they get their way, they will ship even more jobs overseas. You will have two classes in this country. You will have the upper class and the poor. And the elitists on the left, and even all those Republicans that you so much hate on the left, will be the wealthy ones. I'm not talking about Republican citizens. I'm talking about the government people and the business leaders. And so they're still all going to be wealthy. The people on the left who are at the top are still going to be all wealthy. And you're going to be begging for fucking breadcrumbs because you let them make you dependent on them. You let them become your fucking pimp daddies. So you can go to them and beg for an education. So you can go to them and beg for some retirement money. So you can go to them and beg for medical care. So you can go to them and beg for fucking everything. Instead of relying on yourself and faith in God and what's right and what's wrong. And instead of working for it. You are making yourselves prisoners to a system that you will never, ever get out of unless you have total revolution again. Have people forgotten in this country that part of the reason there was a revolution was because of taxes? Do they even teach that in school anymore? These people want to have total control. They want you to look at them as demigods. What they're going to give you. What you have to go to them for. And they will promise and pander and do things for all the wrong people to stay in office. And stay in that upper crust. While they put their foot right up your ass or on the back of your head. And speaking of that, have any of you tried, I think I put it on here before. Have any of you tried to choke yourselves out from the back of your neck? Can you close off your windpipe from the back of your neck? Go ahead, put your hand back there. Push on it as hard as you can. There's something there, ain't it? It's your spine and vertebrae. Your windpipe's in the front. George Floyd had fentanyl and methamphetamine in him. He was freaking out. He was high as a kite. He was screaming he couldn't breathe before they ever touched him. If you watch that video, he's still screaming and moving his head around. The cop couldn't have had that much pressure on his neck. He wouldn't have been able to move around like that. You would have had to break his friggin' neck to squeeze off the air in his windpipe. Was that in the autopsy report? Were there any broken vertebrae? Anything? No, we never heard about that. Just like we didn't see the whole video until after they went on a riot binge and looting binge and arson binge. So I'm telling you, there are people running the news media and all this crap on purpose to achieve certain means. They're playing you. I've said it since the beginning. They are playing you. They're not out there in the streets with you, are they? They're sitting back and laughing. It's like Joe Biden, he's sitting back and laughing. Remember, they're gonna put you back in chains. You ain't black if you don't vote for me. He's one of the worst kinds of racists. But y'all call Donald Trump a racist. What's he ever said that was racist? What's he ever done that's racist? Huh? Where's your evidence? Where's your evidence? And even if he was some kind of racist, there's different types of racists. There's those who are active who just, we hate you, we want to get rid of you, Ku Klux Klan type. Then there's people, you might call them what's the word? Discriminate. They might have ill feelings towards other people of other colors, but they don't actively do stuff against people of other color. We've all got our likes and dislikes, and you ain't going to tell me there aren't a bunch of black people or Mexicans or any other race out there that doesn't have a disdain or ever made comments against people of another race. Trump said what he was going to do for America and Americans. If he brings jobs back, even if he's a racist, he's got no control over who gets those jobs, does he? If factories open up and hire people, do you think he's sending out a memo? Hey, these jobs are only for white people. Don't hire any black people. Don't think that's going on. So even if you dug up some shit that he might have said 10, 20 years ago, whatever, there's no way with his policies you can say, well, the way he said, what he said back then is affecting what he's doing now. It's hurting us. But I've never seen anything. Seen a lot of shit Joe Biden has said. Never seen anything Trump has said that could be construed racist. I mean, bringing jobs back, jobs go for everybody. White, black, Mexican. What the hell? And you got Biden saying, oh, he's gonna overturn that Muslim ban. There was never a Muslim ban. It was a ban on travel from countries that had very poor security and had a problem with jihadist groups having training camps and all kinds of stuff in their countries. But do you think the news media would report the actual truth on what it was? Do you think they would report, hey, there's other Muslim countries that won't even let people in from those countries? Saudi Arabia, Iran, pick any Muslim nation. They have very tight security, most of them, because of the terrorists. But there's a few that didn't. Trump said, you know what? We're gonna get a grip on this. And the way he campaigned about how this stuff happened on Bush's watch, and he didn't keep America secure. Do you think he was going to do nothing to try and secure this nation? Can you imagine if after he got elected, there was a terrorist attack and it came from some country that he could have put a block in and kept people from coming here? Can you imagine what they would have said then? What a failure he is as a president we got attacked. People don't think. They don't think, oh, he's just a racist and he's anti-Muslim. He won't let those people in. I'm sorry, do you remember what happened? Do you remember the terrorist attacks on 9/11? Do you remember all the other bombings and stuff that happened here and around the world? And can you imagine him running on, he's going to be tough on terrorism and protect this nation and its people? That if he didn't do that after he ran on those things, if there an attack had happened, everybody under the sun would be pointing their finger at him. You failed, you ran on, you said you were going to make this nation secure, and look, you didn't do it, and everything else. But if you look, he's done. He's kept every promise he said. He'd make the nation more secure. He'd bring the troops home. He'd tell NATO to get their shit together. He'd get tough on immigration. He'd cut taxes. He'd bring jobs back. And these morons go, he raised tariffs. And that was going to, tariffs on steel was really going to affect a lot of you. But tariffs on the Chinese steel, it's going to mean more expensive stuff in America. No, we have our own steel. There's other places to buy steel from. But these same people say, you got to raise taxes. You got to have all these programs. Got to have Medicare for everybody, even illegals. Got to give illegals free education. But hey, Grandma, you missed your property taxes for the past 7 years. We know you're 80 years old, but we're going to take your house. Maybe we'll give it to some of these illegals coming in. We got to help them. Maybe we'll give it to some of these drug addicts that won't go out and get a job. We got to get them off the street. There's too many of them living on the street. So as soon as you get behind on property taxes, we're going to take your home and give it to these drug addicts. And they can't understand why we are fed up. You need to wake up out there. Congress does not have the right to take your money that you worked for and give it to other people. Can you imagine somebody going to the founding fathers and saying, hey, let's tax the shit out of everybody so we can give these people over here some money? And they do it while they vote themselves great big salaries and all kinds of benefits and travel the world and then pretend to care about global warming while they use jets to fly all over the place. And go eat, $1,000 dinners at resorts. Like Grissom Newsom just did. Without his mask. And then laugh while he's apologizing. Doing his Obama impersonation. But God damn it, you better not have people in your house for Thanksgiving. Did you see they busted some guy kayaking in the ocean? I guess he didn't have a mask on. They arrested him. In California. Can you imagine that? Out there by himself kayaking. Call in the troops. Go get that son of a bitch. Well, I'll leave that at that. This battery's draining out. I didn't realize it was so low. So, wish you all the best out there. God bless. Open up your eyes and your minds before it's too late for your children and your grandchildren. Wish you all the best out there. God bless. Adios.